Good morning. Peak Vista, there you have a table in here.
The Women Helping Women has been around since 1997, so this year we're celebrating our 19th year.
We have employers, we have resources.
And then once your foot's in the door, from day one, you can move up and move around.
We have haircuts, we have a massage therapist that comes in. We have a lot of clothing that's been donated by community partners. We had a wonderful guest speaker come in. We had our founders, Joe Mitchell and Jan Cummings, come in to say a few words to all the women that are here.
I'm Joe Mitchell. I thought of this almost 20 years ago, so I'm happy to see you here and to help you. We like to help our ladies. We start out with you visiting the employers, and then I introduce people, and then we have a motivational speaker to show you how she has come up in the world and to give you a chance too. So we're proud of that. I'd like to introduce Jan Cummings, who has helped me through the years with this. She's my buddy. And Jan is going to do the Pledge of Allegiance for you, so please stand. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jan, would you like to say a few words?
I've been doing this with Joe for almost 20 years, and we started out very small, and we have grown to this big auditorium. And we want you to enjoy the clothes, the shoes. So enjoy trying on the clothes later and interviewing with the people that are here to help you find a job, and just enjoy yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. I hope everybody has had a good roll and a cup of coffee so you can wake up like we're trying to do. I don't happen to see any county commissioners. Have you seen any? Well, normally they're here, but I understand they had a prior meeting, so they're busy today, but they are very much behind this group. They have helped us through the years, and they're very grateful to how we help our people in this community. So we want to continue that as long as we possibly can. So I don't see anybody that we need to introduce. We don't, Bingston isn't here either, is he? But we're going to introduce our keynote speaker, Jill Davis. You want to give her a few nice words?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing? Good. Thank you guys for coming. It's a big deal. You guys are a big deal. This event is amazing. We have about 35 employers. Again, thank you guys for coming. I wanted to name off a few employers that are here because we have so many great opportunities, and I want to make sure that you guys get to all of them. I was speaking with a young lady in the audience, and she already has an interview for tomorrow at 11 a.m. So, awesome. We have Jackson Hewitt Tax, Joe's Crab Shack, King Supers, Loaf and Jug, Peak Vista, Rehire, School District 3. Make sure that you guys are hitting all of these places. Apprentice Personnel, Broadmoor. We have College Hunks Moving. Who are they? I forgot to stop by that table. Huh?
Is that a moving company?
Yes. Comcast, Deluxe, Discover Goodwill. We have Embassy Suites. We have Genesis Healthcare. We have Goodwill Staffing. And many, many more. We have is it the Wolf Lodge? Great Wolf Lodge. They came in and they're hiring 300 people. So please stop by that table. This is an amazing opportunity. And again, we're so glad you're here. So thank you. I'm going to introduce Jill Davis. She is a beautiful, lovely woman that I met, thankfully, a few months ago, and I got to connect with. She's amazing. She's a motivational speaker. She's a life coach. She is just an inspiration to women. She's a single mom of 4 children. She's a domestic violence and rape survivor. She's been through a lot, and she has an amazing story to share with you guys, as well as some great words of encouragement. So, Jill, could you come up? Thank you.
I'm just so honored to be here. I love seeing women together. We are powerful, you know? We are powerful. And who we are in the world makes a difference. Who you are today really does make a difference. And sometimes we hear that and it feels a little cliche, but it's not. You make a difference, and I'm honored to be here. And as Megan's talking about me, I'm like, oh, ouch, that sounds icky. I don't know. But I did. I survived all those things. And how do we do that? My kids, I have 4 of them, are all big readers, and they love, even my grandbaby. I do have a grandbaby. I know, I look really young, but I have a grandbaby. She is almost 5 years old, and even she loves zombies. Now, zombies are not part of my genre. I don't love zombies, but we know about zombies, and my kids love to read. So we used to read survival manuals, and of course, our favorite is How to Survive a Zombie Attack. And any good survival manual, whether it's how to rescue a burned turkey on Thanksgiving, which happens to be my favorite, or how to survive the zombie attack, always starts with the words, be prepared. Be prepared. I grew up right here in Colorado Springs. I don't know how many of you are natives, but I happen to be. And I happen to be a native from back in the days when Academy Boulevard was a dirt road. Yeah, I know, can you imagine? But I'm a native of the Springs, and I grew up with the concept, be prepared. We lived in the shadow of NORAD Mountain back in the Cold War. Be prepared. I grew up to be prepared. I'm the youngest child of 6 siblings, plus my parents were foster parents here in Colorado Springs. Often we would have 14 to 20 children in our home. I was the baby. I had to be prepared. Growing up in the 70s, some of you don't even remember that there were a 70s, but yes, and they had cute fashion. I grew up in the 70s, and back then we really didn't have a lot of choices. We thought we did, but mainly we either got a career or we got to be moms, because you couldn't do both. Well, I was not a student. I didn't like school so much, so college was not in my repertoire. So I wanted to become a mom. So I prepared to become a mom. I got a hope chest. I filled it with goodies. I was going to get married and be a mom. And I graduated from high school and looked around and thought, oops, I forgot one thing. I got a hope chest. I'm ready for the babies, but I ain't got no man. So I went up to the best shopping place at the time for men, which was the Air Force Academy. And I found myself a man who thought I was cute, and I thought he was cute, and we got married. And we were prepared to have babies. And I got pregnant, and I lost a baby. And I got pregnant, and I lost another baby. And we were prepared to be parents, and I kept getting pregnant. We kept losing these babies until finally I got to keep one of them. And I was ready to live this life I had chosen, the life I had prepared for. Then I had another one 2.5 years later, and I was living the life I had prepared for, except for one little thing. Nobody prepared me for control, anger, chairs flying through the air, hiding, fear. But I had the perfect life. And 5 years later, 7 years later, another little boy was born. I was getting used to this baby thing. A couple of years later, I had a precious little girl. We had the perfect family. And if you looked at us, we had the perfect family. I was married to an Air Force officer. I had 4 beautiful children. I ran a successful business. We looked perfect. But don't ever make the mistake of comparing your insides to someone else's outsides, because our insides were not so great. But we were prepared, and I did that thing that we all do, and maybe you don't, so I shouldn't say we all, but I did, and many of us do. I had this ache inside of me that hurt, and I needed it to go away, and I needed it to stop. So I hid and I numbed that pain with two socially acceptable addictions. I chose food, Oreos were my favorite, and M&Ms, and I chose work. I weighed 135 more pounds than I do right now, and I was a workaholic. I had my own business, so it was easy to be a workaholic. And I was pretty impressed with myself. I was kind of a thing back then. In my business that I was in the top 1% of a company, a direct sales company, that had at the time, over 1 million employees and 1 million contract people. And I was in the top 1%. I was a thing. I was important. My outsides looked pretty doggone good. And I was right here in this hotel about 11 years ago. And I was getting ready to get up on a stage just like this, because I've been speaking for a long time. And I was really thinking I was pretty hot stuff. I was going to teach about work-life balance, because I had it all going on. And I got a call just before I got on that stage. Back in the day of flip phones, we had just started learning flip phones, and they were pretty cool. And I had a flip phone, and they were great because you could tell who was calling, and you didn't have to talk to people you didn't want to. But I was in business, so I saw that phone call come in, and it was the mother of one of my second-born, David. It was a mother of one of his good friends. And I looked at that phone, and I thought, oh, do I want to answer this? Because David, even though he had a perfect life, was our challenge child. And this little friend of his was even more of a challenge child, is what we called them. But I thought, oh, maybe she wants to buy something from me. So of course I'll answer the phone. So I flipped that phone open. Hello, this is Jill. I did think I was quite important. And her response to me was, hi, Jill. This is Susie's mom. Do you have a minute? Oh, God, I was so afraid she was going to talk to me about the kids. But no, Shirley, she just wanted a new lipstick. Yes, Susie, what can I do for you? Jill, I don't know how to tell you this, but I need you to go home right away. David slit his wrists. We're pretty sure he's bleeding out. We've called 911, but this suicide attempt, we're afraid it's going to stick. This wasn't the first time I'd been through it. Jill, are you there? I snapped that phone shut. I was not okay. I was not there. My perfect house, my perfect life that I had built was actually a sandcastle right next to the ocean. And a tsunami in the form of my second-born child named David came and wiped that sandcastle out. And I rushed home. I didn't stay for the event. I was not that important. I learned really fast I wasn't important at all. And I rushed home, and spoiler alert, he's fine. He's 27. He has a beautiful, that grandbaby, it's his. And it's amazing. So that was your spoiler alert. I don't want you to have to sit and worry about it. But I went and I got him. We went to St. Francis, to 3 East. Some of you may be familiar with that place. It's a place where you get to go if you attempt suicide and you don't succeed. In Colorado, they require a 72-hour hold or a 72-hour watch. And after those 72 hours, I was ready to go back to my life. And the nurse said to him, as any good nurse would, those really difficult words, do you feel safe at home? Well, we all know the answer is yes, because if you say no, things begin to happen. But my David, well, he was a truth teller. And he said, no, I'm not safe at home. I will not go back to that house as long as that man, my father, is in it. And at that moment, I knew that what was happening to me behind closed doors was also happening to my children. So we left, all 4 of us, me and my 4 kids. We left. We lived in a hotel for a few weeks. He left. We moved back to the house. And we survived what I thought was the unsurvivable. When we go into that place of emergency, some of you have probably been there where something really dramatic happens to you. You're in a car accident, you lose your job, you can't find the kids' shoes in the morning, whatever it is. It feels unsurvivable. And our brain is developed to protect us in those unsurvivable moments. And something called our amygdala, you don't have to remember it, but it's the part of our brain in the back that provides survival skills. We either fight, we flee, we freeze, or we faint. And it's good that we have that because it's what has allowed us all to be right here today because we've all survived something. And our ancestors survived. That amygdala allowed them to run away from the saber-toothed tiger and climb up the tree and get away. And that's how I felt after we had gone through the divorce, was I was up in that tree, and what now? Well, part of what happens when we run up that tree is we hold our breath. We get really tight because we're going to faint. That's one of our survival skills. But we don't unless we're a 2-year-old throwing a temper tantrum. And we have to learn to breathe again. And I know in Colorado we all pride ourselves on breathing because we live up in the altitude where it's very thin and we need to breathe. But we don't really breathe the way we need to survive. So I'm going to take a second and teach you just a really basic survival skill. And I'm going to ask you all just to close your eyes real quick, and we're going to take 3 true deep breaths. And this is going to take you on through the rest of the morning. And when you breathe deeply, you want to breathe from your belly, not from your shoulders up. So I'm going to count for you those 3 deep breaths. So I want you to breathe in. Hold that breath. And breathe out. Breathe in. Hold that breath. And breathe out. Breathe in. Hold that breath. And breathe out. Can you feel how the room just settled down? Can you feel how your own body settled down? Breathing when you hit that unsurvivable place. Take those 3 deep breaths and things will change. So here we were, the 4 of us, plus myself, so 5 of us, in a home surviving. We were not only surviving, we were actually starting to live because that's what happens after we survive. And I had learned to breathe. And I had learned to be present. That was a choice I had made much earlier in my life, to be present to these 4 beautiful children I had, because my mother, in all her beauty and all her love, with that many kids, wasn't very present for me. And so I was determined when I had those 4 kids, I was going to be present. So I learned that when they came home from school and said, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy," I wanted to listen. And so here we were a year after the divorce in our beautiful home. I was running my business. And we weren't looking as good on the outside, but boy, we were looking good on the inside. And my little David, my truth teller, he was the one, and every family who is highly dysfunctional like ours was, has one of these. You may have one in your family, or you may have been that child that carries the weight. In the psychology world, it's called the identified patient. They're the ones who tell the truth or carry all of the pain. And he came home from school one day and said, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy, I'm so excited, I got to tell you something." So I became present with him, and I sat down on the couch, and I said, "What is it, baby boy? Tell me what's going on." "Mommy, I tried something really new and exciting today." And yes, my kids still call me not Mommy, even though they're in their 30s. And I said, "Sweetie, what is it? Did you make a new friend? Did you find a new book?" "Oh, no, Mommy, I tried something new. I tried something called opium." And I thought, opium? Isn't that thing from The Wizard of Oz that made Dorothy go to sleep? Or that thing that Sherlock Holmes took when he went into the opium dens? I don't know what that is, baby. What are you talking about? "Oh, Mommy, I'll tell you later. I got to run." And off he went, and I went to the internet. And I found out that opium is indeed derived from poppies, and heroin is indeed derived from opium. And we started down a path of 4 years of heroin addiction. Remember, spoiler alert, he's fine. He's clean, he's good. 4 years of heroin addiction. My choice every day was to be present. And he told me years later, when he had that beautiful baby girl, he told me, "Mommy, if you hadn't been present that day and listened to me, you might not have known what I was doing. Thank you for being present." So we have to be not only present with our children's lives and with our friends' lives, but we have to be present to our own lives. We have to hear ourselves. We have to listen to what we need. And then the 3rd step I learned about surviving the unsurvivable is gratitude. You know, that's such a buzzword. Everywhere you look, you see gratitude. My daughter, who's 17, did a 365-day Instagram challenge of gratitude. I have never seen more food pictures in my life. She is a food photographer, lots of coffee. But gratitude, real gratitude. How are we grateful when I have an addict kid? When all that money I used to have, that I used to be grateful for, was gone, and I didn't know if I could pay the light bill. Or I had one kid who was homeless, and I didn't know if he was alive or not because I couldn't have him in the home with my other kids. How do we find gratitude when we've lost our jobs? When the washing machine doesn't work and really nobody has clean socks? Gratitude. I had a friend who had taught me to have gratitude every night. 6 gratitudes a night, you'll feel much better. Well, back in the days when I had a nice house, a nice income, a nice family, those gratitudes came easy. But at that point, they weren't. So one morning I woke up and I was drinking my coffee. I do love coffee. My daughter calls it cream-flavored or coffee-flavored cream, but I like it. And that morning as I looked at the coffee, I thought, the only thing I can be grateful for is coffee. At least I can still have coffee. And then I took a deep breath, and I became present with that cup of coffee, and I remembered something. Several years before that, my sister and I had started a humanitarian organization in Ethiopia for women, because back then, it's changed a bit now in the last 15 years, but back then, women were still property. Women still had no value in Ethiopia. And they would do coffee ceremonies. And one of the things that they would do, these little green coffee beans, if you haven't ever seen them, like you pick them off the tree, and they're like little berries. And then they would roast them in a pan. It was a very formal coffee ceremony. But these women who did not know their value as humans, as people, they roasted that coffee beans with their fingertips. And they would burn the tips of their fingers. And it was part of the process. And they had no understanding that that was not of value. And as I looked at that cup of coffee, I was reminded of that. And I was able to find gratitude in things that didn't feel like gratitude. And I looked at my little can of Folgers, because I am a Folgers girl. And I thought, where did that come from? And I became grateful for the growers of that coffee in Ethiopia. And then I became grateful for the people here in our country who had driven that little jar of Folgers to my Walmart across country. And I was grateful for the Walmart people who were at the store at 2 o'clock in the morning when I couldn't sleep and I was out of coffee. And I learned to be grateful. Gratitude can be challenging. How can we be grateful in difficult places? So I'm going to take you through a quick meditation of gratitude. And again, I just want you to come present. I want you to breathe. If you feel comfortable, put your feet on the ground. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes. And I want to breathe again. We're going to breathe for a couple seconds. And then I'm going to take you through relaxing your body. Because when we can be grateful, when we can relax, everything else begins to make sense. So take 3 deep breaths in. I'm going to talk you through it. Take a deep breath in and hold and let it out. And breathe in and hold on to it and let it out. Breathe in again and hold on to it and let it out. And continue to breathe in that slow, easier way that starts in your belly and not in your chest. And as you breathe there, I want you to think of things that you can be grateful for, and I'll give you some ideas. I am grateful for today for insects, because the spiders keep the mosquitoes away. And I'm grateful for my friends, because my family isn't there, but my friends are there. I'm grateful for my ancestors who came across this beautiful country to deposit me in Colorado Springs. I'm grateful for our Purple Mountains majesty and the beauty of them. I'm grateful for the women who started this organization 20 years ago, who have made a difference for women. I am grateful for each of you, because you're here and you care. I'm grateful for each of the employers, because they showed up and they want you to work for them. How exciting. And I'm grateful for DHS, for all the services they provide. And mostly important, I'm grateful for breath. I'm grateful that I'm present. And I'm grateful for you. And as you choose to come back present, I want to leave you with the words of one of my favorite poets. His name is Lemony Snicket. Some of you may know him. A series of unfortunate events. And he told us, sometimes what seems like a series of unfortunate events is simply the first step on the most incredible journey of your life. I wish you all the best today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. That was beautiful. Something for us all to think about, that's for sure. I've had to do a lot of thinking in the last week. I lost my husband last week. And Clyde helped me start this. He used his brain to help me guide it and plan it, and I miss him terribly, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. So we all have something to think over and think about, and gratitude, how much that is important. I want you all to enjoy your day. You've had a beautiful motivational speech that should help guide you. You've got clothes, you've got employers, you've got so many things to be grateful about today. So let's have a fun day and a good day and make it last for you. Make it work. You too can move up the ladder just like many of the rest of you. Not everybody gets that chance, but you will have it. Thank you. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Jill.
Well, I've dried my eyes. Thank you. And I forgot to introduce myself the first time around, which happens about every time I get on stage. So I'm Megan Salazar. Hi everyone. I've been helping along with many others. I helped coordinate this event, and it's an important event. It's a special event. It's meant for you all in the audience, and we're thankful you're here. I'm going to set up a few things for the day, and then we're going to go party it out with the employers. We are, after this, we're going to meet with the employers. Please contact as many as you can. There are so many here. There are resources as well. There's a list in your brochure of all the employers and resources that are here. We also will be having, we'll be opening the clothing and the accessories and the shoes up very soon, so stick around if you can. And at the end, probably about 11:30, we're gonna have some giveaways, so hold on to your tickets. As long as everyone got one. If you didn't get one, you guys can go out to the registration table and make sure everyone signed in at the registration table to get all the good packets and information that are in there. And I think we're ready to go. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Jan, for coming. Thank you, Jill. That was amazing. And Jill will be here if she has any questions. And you had a number to text to get a gratitude booklet.
I do know that.
So Jill has a gratitude booklet that will come right to your phone if you text this number. So you might want to get your phones out. And it's...
It is, here. It's 44222.
44222.
And just text the word gratitude.
If you text the word gratitude, you'll receive a free booklet that you guys can read when you guys have some free time, and it kind of goes over some learning lessons, because we all could use some learning lessons for gratitude. I know I sure could. So I will be texting that number as well. 44222. Text the word gratitude. 44222. All right, everyone. Let's get to going.
I'm Jessica.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Katie.
Nice to meet you.
There's so many employers. I mean, that is what, and so many resources. I got an interview. I was here for an hour, and I have an interview tomorrow at 11.
But yeah, apply, call me. I'll see what I can do for you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Even just today, we've probably had around 12 women secure opportunities for interviews tomorrow. So that's exciting, and that for us is success.
It's important for so many reasons. Number one is because we're filling job positions locally. People who are in need of jobs right here. We're reducing our unemployment right here in the other room as we speak. And number two, it's a way to support the women who support our community. We are raising the next generation of Colorado Springs.
I think it's a really great event. I really liked the motivational speaker, and I love all the resources that are available to us.
We thankfully have had a lot of community partners come in, and we've had, I believe, cost cutters. We have about 6 or 7 hair cutters, stylists come in.
Oh yeah.
Like it?
I do.
When a woman is ready to change her hair, she's ready to change her life. And a haircut just makes you feel better. There's just something about the way our hair is and the way we're dressed.
And all the women are getting offered free haircuts, free massages, obviously free clothing items, free shoes. They're able to come out with 3 or 4 outfits.
We pair them with personal shoppers, and they're able to get a little boost of motivation.
This is a pretty color. Do you like this one?
Oh yeah, that's cute.
It helps women a lot, especially for women who don't have enough. So they can get interview clothes. They can come here and feel really special for a day.
I'm set for the winter. I'm set for everything.
Yes.
We're enjoying my looking through all the clothes, and just have my personal assistant here. She's wonderful.
This is the first time I've ever been to this event. I found out from the county DHS office. Being here the 2 hours that I've been here, I definitely support this event 100%. It's women coming together, and that's what's beautiful about women helping women, is just women coming together and uplifting us.
We've served over 2,000 women in El Paso County, and we look forward to serving as many more that continue to find that they have a need, and we can make a difference in their lives.
We're excited for this program. We're excited for the year to come. We're excited to see what happens with all these lovely ladies. We're going to follow back up with these women and make sure that they are on their way to self-sufficiency.